This is Maximize Your Return, a presentation that will help you get your home ready to sell for the highest return in the fastest amount of time. My name is Tommy Desmond, the team leader of the Desmond Realty Group at Keller Williams, and I'm going to get you in the right mind frame and on the right track to sell your home. The information in this presentation comes from my personal experiences as a real estate investor, rehabber, and licensed agent, but I also rely on hard data as well. Each year, the National Association of Realtors, of which I am a member, sponsors their annual Cost versus Value Report, an in-depth analysis of trends all over the U.S. regarding how home upgrades affect sales prices. That report breaks down the U.S. into regions, and the info that drives this presentation is specific to Southeast Michigan. Now, much of the information is universal, and many of the trends in the report are very similar across different regions, but our specific numbers were pulled from the Cost versus Value Report for our specific area. Take that into account. Another thing to consider is you want to make sure your expectations are reasonable going into selling your home. While it's true that the market is definitely stabilizing nicely, you can't expect that adding $4,000 worth of granite countertops to your kitchen is going to double the value of your property. Unfortunately, that's just not the way it works, and I hate to see people disappointed. Pretty often, I'm met with homeowners who are thinking of selling their property, but it needs a little work. Immediately, thanks to shows on HGTV and the DIY network, they start thinking of their house as a flip. Now, let me just get this out of the way. Your house is not a flip. Successful investors who rehab properties make their money when they buy. They always buy under market value and typically get their good deals by hunting out ugly, distressed properties no one else wants to deal with, and then they pay cash for them. For 99% of typical homeowners, this is not how they got their house, so the flipper model just does not apply. However, as long as your mind frame isn't that you're going to triple your property's value from thin air, you can still borrow some great tricks from the professional rehabbers. One thing every investor does when they consider updating a property is they prioritize the updates. I personally use the model must, should, and could. The process is pretty easy. All you really need to do is divide a sheet of paper into 3 columns and write must, should, and could at the top of each one. Then walk through your house, from the front yard, through the whole house, all the floors, and into the backyard, indicating every single update you can think of as you go through, putting each one into one of those 3 columns. Now, must items are things that have to be done to the property for safety and wholeness. This would include things like a missing toilet or a hole in the roof. Should items are the things that bring the house up to the neighborhood norm, a concept we'll cover in a bit. Could items are extras that would make the property more desirable over the neighborhood norm. Now, the neighborhood norm is your defining line. What's normal for one neighborhood may not be for another. Unless you're intimately familiar with what the majority of other homes in your neighborhood have for a finish level, this is probably going to be an area that you need some advice from a realtor for. For example, in an upscale neighborhood, higher-end finishes like granite might be the expected norm, so it would be a should item, whereas the same countertop might be a could item for a property in the next town over. Again, you probably want to talk to a realtor about this. They go into a lot of houses and they don't have any vested interest in whether or not you buy granite or Corian. You don't necessarily want to listen to contractors in this regard because someone selling granite countertops is probably a little more likely to tell you that everyone has or should have granite countertops or whatever they're selling that's more expensive. Just saying, not every contractor does this. I'm not giving contractors a bad name, but it's just something to think about. So in general, that's how you should frame all your decisions about finish levels. Mid-range is the neighborhood norm, upscale is over it. Mid-range is a should, upscale is a could. The more coulds you add to your list, the higher your costs. The trade-off in a fast market with low inventory is that when your house has some extra upscale finishes, that could mean less days on market and more offers. When you get multiple offers, you get higher sales prices. Be careful not to go outside of what buyers looking in your neighborhood are willing to pay for, though. If you add too many coulds to your list, that's exactly what will happen. You won't be able to get your money back out, and your house could languish on the market. The longer a house is on the market, the lower its sales price will end up. That's why you need to find the middle ground. Return on investment is the name of the game. When you're getting ready to sell, start to detach from the property. It's not your house anymore. It's a house. And whatever you can do to make that house nice to the widest cross-section of potential buyers, the more money they'll be willing to give you for it, and the faster they'll be willing to write the check. This is not the interior design show. Select fixtures and finishes that will have the broadest appeal and the highest return for the investment. Curb appeal is always a powerful part of a home's value, and when you sell a house, you're not just selling the bricks and sticks, you're selling the lifestyle the potential buyer envisions when he walks up to the front door. If the house looks funky and there's webs and dead bugs all over the place, the patio's all smashed up and there's holes in the screen, the lifestyle you're selling, well, it sucks. Met with a nasty exterior, the buyer will unconsciously think either 1, about all the work it will take to make it nice, or 2, how unpleasant it will be to live with it. Neither of those are the mental images you want your buyers to associate the house with. Low-cost updates like cleaning up your front door, painting it, do it red, adding a really nice new door handle, knocker, kick plate, all go a long way in making your house more inviting. Inexpensive flowers and planters can add color, indicate clearly the path inside, and make an entryway seem more alive. New address numbers, a mailbox, even replacement exterior lighting can go a long way to making the entry look fresh. Light landscaping is a huge way to change the view of your house from the curb. If you got huge overgrown bushes and shrubs covering up your entryway, cut them out and get rid of them. Clear out as much unnecessary clutter as you can. Unless you've got award-winning bushes or a professional landscaper keeping you together, chances are good you can lose about 80% of the foliage in the front of your house. The lawn gnome too, get rid of it. You have no idea who's coming to your house, and they may be terrified of gnomes. Paver stones, retaining walls, and stone paths are good ways to clear up exterior spaces and add definition to landscaping. When buyers see crisp lines and clear space, they subconsciously think, no work to do here, and subsequently, relax instead. That feeling makes them want to stay. And to stay, they have to buy. Replacing garage doors is another way to dramatically upgrade the curb appeal of your home's facade. If replacement is out of your budget, there may be other ways to breathe some new life into them, with paint or with hardware accents. Updated windows and replacement siding also ranked really high as far as return on investment goes, as did deck additions and renovations, not to mention the low-cost, high-return investment of a solid power washing. Another renovation that had a high impact on sales prices was adding usable space to the house. The least expensive ways to accomplish that was by finishing unfinished space, like an attic or a basement. Be sure to approach these kind of updates with extreme caution, because they have the potential to be money pits. There are 2 reasons for this. 1, the small costs of finishing an unfinished space become big costs quickly. A lot of homeowners, especially the DIY variety, think about the big components of finishing a space, like drywall and flooring, electromechanical stuff, but then they don't necessarily add up all the little extras like finish moldings, extra paint rollers, tarps, screws, handles, and hinges. By themselves, the cost is all low, but as a group, they carry some serious weight, so watch out for them. And second, unexpected costs arise when you start changing your house around. Things are discovered behind walls, electrical and HVAC issues appear from thin air, and permits will be pulled. If you're not experienced with construction, I suggest finding a qualified contractor for projects like this. If you're in the Southeast Michigan area, you could call me and I can refer you to someone. Be honest with your contractor and tell them you're looking for a return on investment. Good contractors will have experience with investors too, and they will understand that you're looking for a return on investment if you use that language with them. Finally, kitchens and bathrooms have long been areas of scrutiny for buyers. If you were to ask most investors what the trifecta of a solid rehab is, they'll usually say exterior, kitchen, bathroom. The data this year still affirms that, but also suggests, however, that complete overhauls might not return as well as lighter remodels. New pulls on cabinets and new countertops will have a better return than gutting the room to the studs and replacing everything. A new toilet, replacement shower hardware, and a new cultured marble vanity top will go a long way, making the bathroom fresh and new without the full cost of a total remodel. And lastly, clean ceramic tile can have as much buyer appeal as more expensive stone tile while costing considerably less in materials. You can check out the full report specific to your region at www.remodeling.hw.net. It comes out yearly and it's a great resource to keep your eye on if you're thinking of fixing up before you sell. If you're in Oakland County or elsewhere in Southeast Michigan and you're thinking of putting your home on the market or just curious as to what it's worth in today's market, you can always get a hold of me directly at 248-906-8659 or by emailing tommy@desmondrealty.com. The market is hot, the inventory is low, money has never been cheaper, and buyers are looking. Get a hold of me today and discover how we can get more money in your pocket. Take care, everybody.